Hi, everyone. Hope everyone had a great holiday. I am Chris Mauro,
And I'm Hitt.
and in Infernal the musical, I play Dante and the devil.
And I play one of the 7 deadly sins, greed.
Well, as Dante, I start the show. I'm the narrator, and so I'm kind of discussing what you're about to see. I give you a short intro to who Lily is and just kind of prepare the audience for the world that we're about to enter. And then, as the devil, who appears later on in the show, he is this suave, seductress of a person. You know, he draws everyone in, and so he sings this really fun song called Art of Seduction. It's this tango, and yeah, he knows how to work a room, and it's a really fun role to get to play.
And in the show, I play greed, one of the 7 deadly sins. And our role in the show, we kind of are the personification of the deadly sins. And so we meet up with Lily, we kind of make fun of her a bit, be like, hey, like, join our gang. You kind of want to be like one of us, right? And so it's a lot of fun. I get a tiara, so I'm not mad about it. What initially drew me to it is that I found the concept really super interesting, and I'm a big Greek mythology kind of nerd, and so kind of parts of it reminded me of that, and I was like, oh, this just seems like a really fun show. So I decided to audition, and also one of my dreams is to be in an original show in New York, so this came along, I was like, yes. It's awesome so far.
And for me, I actually hadn't heard of the project prior to Autumn. So she shared with me the information.
I thought he'd make a good Dante, and I told him to audition.
Yeah.
And he did, and he's Dante now.
If it isn't clear, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, and so, she was like, I have a callback for this show, and you should submit for it. I think it would be really fun. And so I did, not really knowing what to expect. I actually kind of thought I submitted a little late and was really thrilled when they got back to me.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting the part, and we got to do it. This is our first show together, which is really cool and exciting.
Do you want me to start?
So the question is, what was the process like?
The audition process was fun. We got called into a Zoom thing, and so we auditioned via Zoom, and all the rehearsals have been via Zoom, which is interesting. Kind of goes into the next question of like, what challenges did COVID pose for collaboration? All of our things, like with Zoom, you can't really sing together with people, so it's just kind of you singing by yourself, hoping you're right, and so you can't really hear everyone together.
It was interesting. It was tricky because like Autumn said, everyone would be muted. So for the most part, you were singing for yourself, and you were trying to learn on your own. And we had all of us in the one call, and our music director would play the music over his computer sound, so we would all hear it uniformly. Another thing that they did that was really cool was they would play that music, and then we would record ourselves on our own devices in our own realm and send it in, so they could kind of hear it separately. And it for us, it was easier because we were together, and we
most of it,
and we have
so
2
we
different
got
voice parts.
Yeah. And the bass. And so, it was a lot of fun. We got to sing together, and so we at least got to hear 2 parts at the same time. And then when everyone got together, we were like, oh, this is how it's supposed to sound.
It was so cool. And getting to hear everyone for the first time, like, it's one of those things when you first go into rehearsals with people that you've never sang with before, it can be really nerve-wracking, it can be really difficult. And
everyone's so chill.
Yeah, everyone was so chill. Everyone was so prepared. Yeah. We went into this rehearsal process and just like we banged it out. Like it was really, really cool, and the harmonies were just so tight for never having sang together in person. It was really, really impressive and powerful, and
Yeah.
we all can't wait to
time.
get it on its feet. Yeah.
Well, I will say this is probably a continuing process as we can keep going through the show and all that jazz. But way back in college, I actually took a class. It was called Vice and Virtue, and it was a class centered around the 7 deadly sins. And we did different projects over it. I wrote a 1-act play on the 7 deadly sins, actually. And so, but I focused on some of the other ones. Being greed, it's kind of made me go back to some of those old notes and old textbooks that we kind of were looking at and try to, I don't know, personify greed a little bit more, make it, I don't know, just think about my own life. How does greed look? And not necessarily like, greed, I want your money, but like, like how greed looks in other aspects of life, not necessarily the most obvious ones. And
do
so
that voice more.
I know. My character voice.
Greed.
But yeah, and it's kind of interesting too because a lot of the 7 deadly sins, they kind of morph into each other. Like with greed, I could say, oh, I want what they have because they have so much better stuff than I do. But that also kind of can go into envy. And so it's kind of trying to make that distinction of, okay, what is greed versus the other deadly sins and how they all do correlate, but what distinguishes them apart from each other. So yes.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing.
For me, with bringing the devil to life, I will be honest. It was a challenge. This is a completely new project for me, a new type of character. I've never played that before. I mean, I've played like the bad boys in shows, and I've also played like the romantic lead. But the thing about
He's pretty
this role,
suave,
yeah,
for the most part.
the thing he's kind of like in the.
I mean, you.
Well,
And then you can put that in
oh,
character.
stop. Thank you. No, I think the thing about the devil is he is in our show. We've kind of compared him to like the TV show Lucifer, where he's this suave, debonair guy who is really good at getting what he wants and convincing people that he is the best and he knows all. And
he might not necessarily think of himself as evil, depending on how you want to take your character.
But for me, it was one of those things where I almost had to break down some walls when I first started looking at this role. I tried to play him, you want him to be played showy, but at the same time, there's a confidence there. And
that honesty you have to find in it.
Yeah. And so it took some digging to really get myself to a place where I was able to say, yeah, I'm the devil. I can walk in and own that room, own that song. It was tough. He owns it all, and he's in charge. And putting yourself in that position and being the big cheese is sometimes tricky. So it was definitely a process. But working with Misha and Brent, it was really beneficial. They just, they took a lot of time with me and
You're doing a good
allowed
job.
me. Thank you. But they also allowed me to be free in what I tried, but they also were open and honest with their vision and how to bring it to life in a way that would tell the story through their eyes, through their words.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been really fun.
Well, I just got done with another original show, actually. It was called The Garden of Allah, and it was about Alla Nazimova, who was a 1920s silent film actress. And so I got to play kind of her secret lover. And so it was really fun going from that show that was a lot more kind of classic music based in a way, and a lot, it's just different style. It's just a completely different world. And so that was a show that we just put on as Infernal was starting. And so it was really cool to switch gears and go to a completely different character, different style of music. And so Garden of Allah, shout out to Jacob, who wrote it. He did a great job.
She sounded beautiful.
Thanks.
I was there for the videos.
Yeah, thank you. And so that, and then that same friend, he also wrote another song that he had me sing. And so that was a lot of fun. That's kind of what I've been working on lately.
Yeah.
That's about it.
For me, I work at a restaurant called Ellen Stardust Diner. It's where the waiters are singers.
You sing.
Yeah, and it's really cool. For those of you who don't know the restaurant or haven't been there before, what makes this restaurant so famous is that since its doors opened, over 200 servers have gone on to Broadway or TV or film. And so it's this well-known place because the performers at the restaurant go on and do these,
Cool things.
these
And you
cool
can come
things.
back and work there between contracts.
Exactly. So I've been doing that up until last week or 2 weeks ago, when unfortunately the city went back on shutdown for indoor dining. So that's unfortunately on break. But the beauty of what we do is, if you got a phone or a camera, you can still make music. And we did that this summer when the first shutdown happened. We the performers at the restaurant, we organized a fundraiser to help our coworkers who were not able to collect unemployment. And so we did videos online and used that as an opportunity to help others in need as well.
And we're going to be working on some stuff together too.
Yeah.
And so that will be fun. Some duets in the future.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
So it'll be fun.
And what else is? Brain farted on the other one. I was like, I had another one. I had the opportunity to do science. I had the opportunity. Inside joke. I had the opportunity to do a reading. A friend of mine has a show that has been being worked for a while now, and it's been through several different stages, and I was able to be a part of a reading that is kind of moving it up to its final stages of development before it starts doing the next steps like concept albums and whatnot. So that was a really cool opportunity.
It sounded cool.
Thanks. He has another show that he did not too long ago, and I got to watch as that show has grown over the years. And so it was really exciting to get an opportunity to be working with him on that, and who knows where that'll go. But I'm looking forward to 2021. I think it's going to be a good year. I think it's going to come back, and hopefully you'll see the two of us doing some more work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and side note, speaking of Greek mythology, full circle, shout out to my very dear friend Rachel McDean and her writing partner. Their show Medusa has gotten a lot of headway. So if you want to check it out, feel free. It's Medusa the Musical. Just a little input there for her. It's really, really sweet. And,
Name drop.
And and so give it some love because it's a really fantastic show. And also her other project, the Anxiety Project. It's really important stuff going on. So.
Thank you so much for listening to us, guys. We really hope that you come see this show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's, we've all been putting in a lot of work. Thank you, Misha and Brent, for all the time you've put into this show. Thank you for giving all of us the opportunity to work. Yeah. And to just have a way to express our creative side during a pandemic. So please come check us out on January 30th. And prior to then, if you want to see a little bit more, obviously check out the Infernal website. You can see more.
Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. Chris Mauro 13 on Instagram.
Autumn Charlie 3 on Instagram.
And my website is chrismauroactor.com. Check us out, guys. Hope you come see the show. And
Be a fun time.
stay pretty. No? Was that? Should we cut that part?
That's weird.
Okay.